Hello everyone and welcome to Soul Conscious Hero and our weekly soul weather forecast. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't been here before, hello and welcome. This is where we find out what's in the collective energy this week, what as a collective we might experience. So to start off, we have the number 9 dances on 1 foot balancing act. So this is really, really interesting because, so this tells me this week is all about balance because prior to starting this reading, I wanted to pull a couple of animal cards here to determine, I think this is a wild unknown deck. I'd have to look again, but to find out what kind of energy the collective was in, like from an animal perspective. And these are the 2 cards that came out, the tarantula and the camel, which is interesting because they're back to back, you know, and they're both fire cards. They're both back to back in the book, and they're actually they both talk about balance. And then we have this card that came out here, dances on 1 foot balancing act. So this really tells me there's all this energy around. I'm going to go ahead and put these over here. There's all this energy around balance. And with these 2 cards, they really both kind of talk about the balance between kind of head over heart, or choosing your life's path, choosing your soul purpose, choosing your happiness, what your soul and your heart knows as happiness, without letting your mind, or without intellectualizing or over analyzing the outcome. So if that makes sense. So it's kind of like this energy, and I like that we have this almost like new moon, because we are in we did have the new moon at the beginning of the weekend, coming into the weekend prior to this week. So we're kind of, you know, when I'm pulling this, we're still kind of on that, you know, in that cusp of that energy. But, you know, the tarantula card talks about this need to, like, that there's something that we may be doing, an old habit, or something to the effect of something, a habit or a way of living, or something that we're doing, a way we're thinking that we've done all our lives, or we've done for a very, very long time. Thus, it's a habit. It's something that we've done that's not serving us. It's something that we need to let go of. That's something that is blocking us from our happiness. It's keeping us from obtaining our happiness. It's giving us the excuse that we need to not go after our happiness. And so the tarantula card talks about, 1, journaling to discover, you know, maybe discover what that habit is, or if you don't realize where your happiness really lies, to discover where your heart is, to discover where your happiness is, to discover, you know, maybe to be able to see what that blockage is, and see where you may be stopping yourself from obtaining your happiness. And even the camel card, it talks about to get back into balance, that it's a journey that you need to go on, that we need to go on to discover something. And so so both of these cards, one, the tarantula is more like a crossroads card, where, you know, you can go one way or the other, but it also talks about a blockage, a hindrance toward, you know, there's something that's making you kind of go down the wrong path versus the right path, and to discover, you know, to kind of go within to discover what that blockage is that is pulling you in the wrong, that's keeping you off track, that's keeping you on the wrong road versus the right road. And then the camel card is, it talks about a journey too. And you look, this has got, like nightness, darkness, it's nightfall and darkness, and there's the new moon here. So it tells me that during this new moon, that was a time to go on this journey within to discover where we might be overanalyzing in our lives, where we might be keeping ourselves off track, figuring out what that habit is that the habit is that is not serving our higher purpose, or our, that's keeping us from our happiness. And then, trying to change that is what I really get. And I feel like that's what the balancing, this balancing act is, and why it says dances on one foot and balancing act. Because I feel like, right now in our lives, we might be, there's something that we're dealing with, juggling it, because both of these cards can talk about even having a lot on your plate, like trying to juggle a lot of things, because the reason we're doing that, the reason we're juggling things, is because there's things that need to be removed from our life that maybe we have not done yet. We haven't done that work yet. And so this really talks about the need to identify what things in our lives that's keeping us dancing, that's keeping us doing that juggling or balancing act, that's keeping us out of balance, is what I really feel, because both of these cards can talk about needing to find balance within ourselves. Okay, and our emoji card here might be a little bit tense this week. We'll see what comes out with the rest of the cards, but there might be a little bit, I'm getting tension right off the bat, frustration, tension, but we'll see. And that could be, especially if you're not happy, if there's something that keeps rubbing at you, and this is what I'm getting with this energy, that there might be something that keeps pinging, keeps coming up, that keeps pinging, if there's like something rubbing against, your heart and soul, that's trying to pull you in a specific direction, or pull us in a specific direction, it's our intuition. It's your intuition, our intuition, that's trying to lead us in a certain direction. And it's our behaviors, habits, and things that we have developed over our lifetime that might interfere. It's like interference on the play, okay? And so, but our heart and soul still wants that happiness. So our intuition is continually pinging us to keep moving toward what makes us happy. But we keep getting in our own way. We keep putting a flag on the play, and we keep interfering with our own happiness. And so when that happens, that causes stress, it causes anxiety, it causes feelings to come up. That's when we can be irritable with other people, with ourselves, with other people, because it's not the things around us, it's what's going on within us. It's the fact that our heart and soul is trying to lead us in a direction, and we may not be listening. And even if we are listening, we might be telling ourselves stories as to why we can't do that, why we can't go down that path. And that leads to that irritation. And that's what I feel like where that irritation is stemming from. It's like a deep down irritation with ourselves, and the frustrated at ourselves that we can't be the person that we want to be right now, but it does, change takes time. And this really tells me with the cards that came out that there's something that needs a habit, like an old way of doing things or an old way of thinking that is not serving us as individuals, that needs to be resolved, that needs to be cleared up. And the only way you're going to know what that is, because it will be different for everybody, the only way to know what that is to either, take some time, go within, take some time to yourself, whether that's meditation, it's quiet time. And whatever that quiet time looks like for you, it could be going out and taking a walk outside where you're all alone and you have time to yourself to think. It could be just I know some of us do this. I do it occasionally where you zone out when you're driving, because you can, it's like second nature, driving second nature to you. So, you kind of zone out and it can be your time to almost get in a meditative state and think. So whatever whatever time during the day or whatever way that you have of taking those moments of silence, even before you, like first thing when you wake in the morning or first thing before you go to bed, that quiet time when your mind can think about things, where you can go within and you can look at things. And if you have a hard time doing that, then maybe journaling is an option for you too, blogging, journaling, something like that, so that you can go back and look at what you wrote and see what is coming up, see what emotions are coming up, see what feelings are coming up, what desires, so that you can see where you may be stopping yourself. So we have here, I know I'm pulling quite a bit of oracle, but that's what was called for today. So I let spirit guide me on how to do these readings every week. So we have Lepidite, clemency, always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much as forgiving them. And that's usually true, because it's funny, because when someone's mad at you and you don't feed into that, it's like almost like you're not acknowledging their anger. And through not acknowledging their feelings and not acknowledging that anger, if you might be ignoring it, or, not even ignoring it, but if you forgive them and say, it's fine. I understand you may be irritable right now. It's good. And you don't let it affect you and your well-being. Yeah, that does tend to annoy people. And there could be, with this coming out, there could be that happening. There could be someone around you, definitely, that might be a little angsty, that might be a little bit angry and irritated, but it could be based in what I just said, that the reason their irritation and anger, which is why there's this call for forgiveness of people, not only yourself, but people around us as well, because of the fact that everyone right now, this is a collective reading, so everyone right now, the majority of the people in the world are in this kind of an energy, so their tensions are going to be high right now. So people are going to be easily irritable, maybe act out of frustration and irritation, and it's not at you. Don't take it personally. It's something within them that's trying to work its way through. So, and look at this, we have the overcoming obstacles card. Go over it or around it, or just see the way through. There's a hidden path to discover. Again, hidden path. There's something that needs to be, discovered in this. The camel card talks about a journey. It's a discovery. It's discovering, if you don't know what your path is, if you really don't know what your path, where your happiness lies. And your happiness lies in your soul's purpose. And I know when you hear the word, a lot of people, when they hear the word soul purpose, they're thinking of this big, large thing. And it's, like this whole, like maybe that you have to do something fantastical in your life. That no, it doesn't have to be that. Your soul's purpose is your purpose for being here. Why were you born? What are you here for? And usually that goes back to not something you need to accomplish necessarily, but it's a discovery of self and who you are, because when we're born into this world, we don't have any memories. We don't know why we're here. We don't remember what our life's purpose is. So the journey here on this earth is to discover that, to figure that out, to find our happiness and figure out. And through that journey, we learn the lessons that we need to learn. And so So for example, for me, it's interesting too, because if you've never looked at astrology and you've never looked at what your north and south node is, that will give you a good indication. Look at what your north and south node are, and it'll give you a starting point of what your life soul path, life purpose might be. Now, so your north node will tell you what the kind of what you're trying to, what your purpose is. And I hate using the word purpose, but it kind of tells you what you're here to figure out. Okay. And then the south node is usually the obstacle that you need to overcome, this obstacle that you need to overcome that might block you and keep you from your purpose, understanding the lesson or the thing that you need to learn or overcome to become happier in life. And so for me personally, my journey here on this earth was to learn unconditional love. So I was born into a family that was very, everything that I knew growing up was very conditional love. Everything came at a cost. And for a very long time, I rebelled against a lot of I pushed people away, anyone that wanted to give anything to me or do anything for me, because I had this belief that nobody did anything for free. Everything, if somebody did something for you, it came at a cost. And so I was always very, very afraid of accepting anything, accepting help, accepting anything from anyone, because I didn't know what strings would be attached. And so it was a long journey for me to begin to be able to open up and trust people in the fact of knowing that there are people out there that will do something for nothing, that do love you and unconditionally. And through the journey that I had, I started to learn about unconditional love, and that is the lesson that I was meant to learn. So for me, my happiness lies in loving people unconditionally, or learning or trying to learn to love people unconditionally and not let there be, bounds on love. And that comes with a level of trust that I'm still not 100% worked through, but I'm quite far on the path. So we had all our, this is so funny. Okay. This is so funny. Okay. So we have, we will definitely get clarifiers on that. I think I'm just going to, we'll see. I'm going to start with pulling where I want to use the Tarot of the Divine. This is the Mystical Melodies deck, by the way. Give me, we'll just do one card unless something wants to come out. But we have the Tower, the Moon, and the Lovers card, which is, again, this is talking, it's interesting because this is, even though it's the Lovers, this is a union, but I feel like, and it is a choice. Again, the original meaning of the Lovers is a choice. But you see how on this card, we have, it's like the angel is looking down over this choice, and there is the snake, the temptation. So it's like the angel is looking down saying, what are you going to choose? Which, what are you going to choose for yourself is what I feel like that Lovers card is representing, because the moon is bringing stuff up. And I feel like it's interesting. We have this journey of, where the new moon came out here on the Camels card. And this, I feel, is the new moon, which will be in a couple weeks, I think on the 25th of January, if you're watching this when I post this reading. But there's these two posts back there. Again, there's this need for balance and a choice. There's a crossroads, which we have that coming out in the Tarantula card, which signifies a crossroads. But I feel like the crossroads is finding balance within ourselves, because even here we have the, like, this is our light and shadow self. There's the two, well, usually the two wolves, but look, this is like this little funny little happy-go-lucky guy right here, and then the wolf is our more primal self, our more bestial self. So it's really finding that harmony. Look at this. It's like everything is talking about finding harmony and balance within us, within ourselves, finding, coming to terms with, maybe coming to terms, because these two sides of the, they're playing together. They're in harmony, they're saying, he's even howling, they're kind of, it's like bringing ourselves into harmony, being acceptant of who we are as a person, flaws and all, and I feel like that I mean, the Tower doesn't surprise me that it's here, because there is this need that keeps coming through strongly, that there's something needs to change in our lives, that there's a change that needs to be made that we might be ignoring right now. So give me one clarifier on this Tower card, please. One clarifier on this Tower card, please. The Ten of Swords. Yeah, something, there's really something in our lives that is really getting on our nerves, that's really coming up, and it's coming up where it keeps rubbing against us and keeps irritating us, because it's something that needs to be it's something that needs to change. There's either, say for instance, like, you're not happy in your job, and every day you get you're irritable, you wake up irritable knowing that you have to go to that job and you're not happy doing it, so you get frustrated and irritated at the job, at everyone at the job, everything you're doing during the day, during the job, and that will put you in that Ten of Swords energy, because it's like it's basically your intuition, your soul is telling you that job is not meant for you. And I know that, you're sitting there saying, well, Sherry, I got to pay the bills. I got to work for a living. I got to pay the bills. Yes, I understand that. But this is where trust comes into play. Not only trusting yourself, but trusting the universe at large, but trusting yourself that you have the ability to change your circumstances. And that could be just as simple as either finding a way to be happy and content. If you really, really, really feel like that job, you can't leave that job, you can't change your circumstances, because it would just be too much. It would be overwhelming for you, and you don't feel like you could do that, then it might be that you might have to change the way you look at that job to make it, align more. How can you make the current job you have align more with what your happiness is, what your purpose is? How can you incorporate that into your current job? If you really, but everything in this reading is telling me like that the way this is coming through, that if it's a situation like that, it's calling for you to leave that field, leave that job, leave that profession and find something else. But it's that kind of energy. So even if it could be in love too, that you might be with someone in your life right now that really doesn't make you happy. There's a mismatch and an unalignment between your energy and your partner's energy, that you both really aren't on the same page, or don't really desire the same things, or not both adding value to each other's lives. There could be something to that dynamic as well. But this is where, because it's a general message for the populace at large, that it's going to be different for everybody, and you can't get really pinpoint specific for anyone. So So on this moon, we have the Five of Cups. That's stuff coming up where we're re-examining. It's stuff coming up for us to look at. That's what that is. It's the stuff, and that makes so much sense with the moon. And we had the cycle of between the new moon and the full moon. I think the new moon really started bringing up stuff for us to look at and examine, and which it's hoping that the energy we're under is this energy of trying to have a new beginning, trying to get us to have a new beginning somewhere in our lives, a new start, to be more aligned with our happiness and what makes us happy, and to go after our dreams. So we, the new moon kind of brought up things for us, emotions and feelings toward different things in our lives that needed to be reviewed, that needed to be looked at in order to be changed. That's why there's this tower here, because, it's showing us where the difficult, because look at this, she's looking at this Ten of Swords. She's, and she's realizing, that there's been this difficulty that maybe either she's caused the strife for herself and it needs to be changed because of her actions, her thoughts, her way of doing things, or there's something that is just not aligning with her, and it's bringing a lot of stress and pain into her life. Therefore, there's this transformation that needs to occur. There's a choice that needs to be made, whether you're going to choose the way that you've always been living, or choose to embark on a new journey in a new direction that more aligns with our heart and soul, that more aligns with our happiness. Okay, give me a card on this Lover's card. The Six of Swords, yeah, moving away, making the choice, whatever that choice is for yourself, and then moving toward the choice, because this is moving away from this conflict, from this pain, because we have the Tower here that's making us realize where in our lives is causing us stress, anxiety, pain, what isn't aligning with us. The Tower showed us what's not aligning with us, and through that, it gave us this time. I think we're in that window, because I really feel like this is telling me with this new moon and full moon here that this is the window, that we're going to be experiencing this over the next couple weeks, until the full moon, this kind of review where we're really, really feeling the stress and like what is blocking us in our lives. The universe is really showing us right now what is holding us back, what is making our lives more difficult, and I feel like this Tower is going to keep happening as long as we don't make this change, as long as we keep sitting in whatever is this difficulty is, and we keep allowing it to happen over and over again. The Tower, it's like this, I see this cycle, like it's just cycling around. Okay, you want to sit here and stay where you're at and not do the work? Well, boom, Tower. We're going to show you, we're going to make you feel this Ten of Swords. We're going to make you feel that Ten of Swords. We're going to make you look at this until hopefully you see, you learn the lesson, you see what needs to be changed, and you make the right choice to move away, from that pain, to move away from the thing in your life that's holding you, keeping you back from being happy. Because look where they're going to this beautiful place. Look at this. I mean, this is desert and scorched, and interesting here we have two desert animals. These are both desert animals, and these both are represented by fire. They're both fire in the elements. So it's basically the universe lighting a fire lighting our butt on fire, and pushing it, trying to push us to move, because we have to be in. It's not until we really feel this pain that we move. When our life is really something in our life is really, really driving us crazy, really irritating us. That irritation really, really irritating us, like really big time. Do we make change and lasting change too? So the universe knows that it has to, we have to be in this uncomfortable spot. We have to feel this pain. We have to feel this pain. And so the universe is causing these tower moments, which is why there's this forgiveness card, because the universe is throwing these obstacles and blockages in the tower, blocking things until we look at what needs to change, and putting us in the energy of really feeling that discomfort so that we're forced to change, that we don't have any choice but to change, because we want to get out of this energy so badly. And I feel like that's it. It's kind of like the people that haven't, the people in the world that maybe haven't done the work yet, that have been maybe pushing against making the changes that are coming up for them. I feel like they're going to be the ones that are going to really feel the impact of this really strongly. Probably a lot of fixed signs, because fixed signs usually are very slow to change. So if you haven't been doing the work that's led up to this, all the readings that I've done, there's the work to lead up to this, the changes that needed to happen as far as changing maybe certain habits and things in our lives, are going in different directions. Basically, the universe is putting more and more pressure on to make those changes within us, because the universe wants to give us happiness. It wants us to be happy. It wants us, to live a life of happiness. That's the whole purpose. It's trying to teach us through these lessons and the things that we're experiencing, how to make ourselves happy and how to be happy within our lives, and but sometimes we get in our own way, and this is what this is really talking about, where we have gotten in our own way, in a sense, and we are our own worst enemy, and we are keeping ourselves from truly being happy because of the choices that we're making, because of the choices that we are making to keep ourselves from moving on to something happier, more peaceful, more calm, more joy, what is meant for us. It's really very clear in this reading that this is really talking about finding that harmony and balance within ourselves, coming to terms with certain things, getting rid of stuff that doesn't serve us, so that we can move toward things that are meant for us, things that will make us happy, because we are moving into this happy, super happy timeline that's coming. It really is. I mean, this can be the year, where you start really fulfilling your dreams. If you're willing to walk, the energy is there to really be happy and to really fulfill your dreams. But the only thing that's going to stop you from doing that is you. And that's the thing that you have to be aware of, because you're the only one keeping you back. You're the only one that is not believing that you can have that. Because if you can believe it, then you will put the energy, the fire, the passion, the energy behind making whatever happen for yourself, living the lifestyle that you want to live for yourself. You would go after it with a deep passion and desire if you weren't holding yourself back, if you believed that you could have it. So this is really, that's what it's saying, is we really are our own worst enemy. We keep ourselves by the thoughts that we think, by the actions that we take, the things that we choose in our lives, we choose the life that we are living. And so if you want to live a different life than the life that you're living, you have to change something within you. You have to change what's in you to change what you see on the outside, in your outside environment. Because once you change, then you're changing your vibrational frequency, because you're doing things differently. You're tuning, you're changing the station. You're saying, I don't accept this anymore for myself. I don't want this anymore for myself. So you no longer make that choice. You no longer choose that station anymore. You've changed the station, you've changed your vibrational frequency, where you no longer align with whatever it is you decided you don't want anymore for yourself, and you don't entertain thoughts or, moving toward anything that's aligned with those things that you decided you don't want for yourself. So say, for instance, you're a person that is non-monogamous, and that's who you feel like, you feel that aligns with you, then you're going to push away anyone that comes towards you with that wants monogamy. So because you're not vibrational, you're not on that same frequency with that person, because you don't align. You want different things, you don't align. And the same thing goes with a job. Like, if you're doing a job and that job isn't what you really want for yourself, you're not in alignment with that job, that choice that you made. And when you finally get enough of it and realize that it doesn't sit well with you, it doesn't bring you happiness, and you realize that's not what you want for yourself anymore, you'll decide, I don't want this for myself anymore, and you change the station, you change the frequency, you go and find another job. So it really is that discovery of what do you really want, changing, fine-tuning, when you're just trying to, it's like, really is like adjusting the station to find the frequency that's your frequency, that aligns perfectly with you, that makes you happy. And it's going to look different for everybody, because your happiness is not somebody else's happiness. What makes you happy isn't going to make somebody else happy. It really is finding that station, that frequency that aligns perfectly with you and what really makes you happy. And that calls for going within to really figure that out, to really, really understand what is meant for us, what is meant for our personal self, not somebody else, but us. And what that lifestyle entails, whether that's to live alone somewhere as a hermit, or whether that's to be, working on, in some really high stress, like busy lifestyle. Everybody's going to be different, and what makes one person happy isn't going to make another person happy. So it really is, that's what this is talking about, is fine-tuning our frequency to find, and that's where there's all this balance. And then we have balancing on one foot, which talks about out of balance. It talks about we're not quite on the right frequency for ourselves. We're still fine-tuning and adjusting the dial. We're still, trying to find that station that's just right for us, that's just perfect for us. It's funny, the story of the three bears and Goldilocks just came to my head. And it really is like that. It's like, that's kind of like what life is. It's almost a parable to life, because it's like, Goldilocks comes in. So we come into this world, and, it's like, try this bed, and it's, too hard, too firm. We try that. We try this thing in life, and that's not right for us. So we try this thing in life, and it's not right for us. We keep trying things until we find the bed or the porridge or whatever that's just right. And if you think about it, she goes through this, Goldilocks goes through trying all these things to figure out what she doesn't want. And it's really is fine-tuning, turning that dial to find the right station for her, that's like, oh, this is the bed that I want, this is the food that I want, this is what I want for myself, this is what makes me happy. It really is that story. I never thought about it that way. Very interesting that came through, but it really is a good example of what this is talking about. So I really hope you enjoyed this reading, because it's been very interesting to do this as a reader, to have this come through. It's been a fun journey. So I hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed telling the story. So thank you so much for joining me this week. I wish you the very best. I hope you'll hit that like button down below and subscribe. If you haven't done that already, it really does help me out, and I appreciate it greatly. So have a great, wonderful week. Much harmony and gratitude and blessings to you.